Assalamu alaikum, and you are watching Gossip only on DOPStv. So we talk about a lot of important, fun stuff. We do not gossip, so don't be fooled by the premise of the name of the program. So part of the discussion with me and my very esteemed list of panels today is we're talking about women in the workforce as a whole. Recently, the Prime Minister has actually announced that public listed companies without women board members by 2018, I think he gave a deadline, to be named and shamed. And if I'm not mistaken, he wants at least a minimum of 30% or something like that. So Ina, you actually did an interview with the PM.
Yes,
on,
we did.
On which edition was it? Okay.
End of last year.
Yeah.
So the article was actually about the career comeback program that is under Talent Corp.
Talent Corp.
They
okay.
organize career comeback. So one of the things that that I realized of late, I've had a group of friends, close friends of mine. All of us are sharing the fact that our parents, relatives are getting older, elderly, and there are more illnesses. So it made me realize that actually the people or the person that eventually will have to care for these elderly parents are the women.
Daughters, yeah.
Are the daughters.
Daughters, yeah.
So when I think back of like, realistically, just this is based on my personal opinion, perhaps that is something that is keeping women
from going all the way to the top.
From going all the way to the top because of the amount of responsibility. And if you weigh out between caring for your parents
and becoming a
director of such and such company, and what's more important is parents.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a step in somewhat the right direction to be more inclusive, but sometimes probably making it legislature, making it compulsory, it could compromise on the quality as well. It could be that particular organization doesn't have women or don't have women of that caliber, but to meet this quota, if not they get penalized, they might just kind of go, okay, we need to get any women, that sort of thing.
I think we just have to go back to the Islamic principles.
Right.
That the principle is that you have to be adil, you have to be just, and you define zalim is putting something that is not in the right position. So if we are putting women who have got the correct qualification and experience and caliber just to fill up the 30%, then we are actually doing some injustice to the company or to the organization or to the ummah even. So, and you must remember that the responsibility that is given is just not just position. It is answerable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we are going to bring when we face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I think I would actually feel that maybe the government, instead of shaming and naming those companies, why not do it in another positive manner, instead of for those companies who actually provide or have opportunities for the women,
for incentives instead.
Give them incentives, tax exempt or being recognized, whatever. So that
instead of doing it by fear and by force.
So that more and more companies having the compassion of helping the women to move up. At the same time, providing time for caring of our elderly parents.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, like naming and shaming is totally not something we should encourage. I would love to have more decision-making women in government positions as well. I mean,
especially
that's something.
Women issues.
Yeah, I would love that, but one, we don't need to name and shame. I agree definitely with Doctor that we should celebrate instead.
But I think when we talk about having a legislative like this, I think when you have a certain quota, that's when there's more action in that sense. You give more opportunities because whether we like it or not, when you talk about board of directors, it's a man game. It's like a boys' club.
Maybe
and
one
normally,
woman.
Maybe one woman once in a while. And what happens is when a company, a private company, when you want to go for listing, for example, you would normally pick your friend, you know, somebody that you know will not go against what you're gonna champion, you know. So you wouldn't want to pick, Anita, you know, you want to pick Abu Bakar, you know what I mean? Yeah. So by having this quota, I mean, I think it's good for me. I think you know, in that sense, then you can have some women in the board. There's a wider perspective. You know, there's many things that you can actually change.
Actually, that's very interesting because the conversation I had yesterday with a lady who's, you know, in a corporate position, she said, you know, men in the board position would always try to get people that they can trust in that sense. They get people who, in a lot of ways, people who don't challenge them so much. And a woman sometimes, I think, especially if you're the sole woman in a group, you have that tendency to make your voice heard, you know, you have that. But she also mentioned something about in all these major corporations, you find a lot of women in middle management positions. But as you go up the ladder, that's when you start to see, for every 10 men, you'll find one woman.
This comes back to, again, what we were saying earlier. It's because women, you go through the pregnancy and then you stay home. If my child is sick, I take the medical leave. You know, so because of that, you know, men feel that women will always, you know, not be there. So why would I pick a woman over a man?
Why can't, instead of naming and shaming, we think about
course.
building support system?
Right, encouraging.
Then only women can reach higher position. Build the support system. Support us lah. You cannot just say, I want 30%, let's get it done. Come on, Fred. Yeah, come on.
Actually,
let's
it's
build.
good to have quotas.
We build the support system, you know.
Is that a realistic quota? 30%?
30%? Maybe, but you have to have ladders, you have to have mentoring, you have to have support, you have to have opportunities for the women to go up.
Maybe one or two women in every, you know, board.
Maybe more of a balance instead of a numbers thing. You know, instead of really calculating, it's just, okay, you have a balance, you have not just gender to me, but also degrees of expertise. You know,
I think that should matter most.
No, that's what I was saying. With the quota, that's when action begins. So that's when you hire, you train,
or you actually work
identify.
towards getting more women.
Exactly. So, you know, because women, if we put, you know, our mind to it, we can do better.
Something 30 days can do in 15 days. Kalau women,
Okay, so in general, so are women actually more, no lah, cannot say better lah kan lah, but maybe in the workforce, are we, you know, are we a little bit more special, you know? But don't answer now, we will find out after, we'll find out later.